on. Oh, bollocks. Wait. What have I done?
This is the Fibsborough boys trying to work Skype.
Yeah, stop. Hold on now. Oh, shit. I'm trying to share my screen with you, I think.
No, I got it.
Okay. Ah, yeah, there we are. Grand.
Oh, hang on. Now I've done something.
Grand.
Shit. There we go. Right. All good? Alright, I have two opening ones.
Okay.
With this, now we're about a month and a half now into the lockdown, so I wanted to ask, in a time where people are kind of losing motivation for things, like how are you staying active around the house and that kind of thing?
It's been pretty easy, to be honest. I feel like right now I have a lot more control over my training than I normally would.
Yeah.
It's all like you miss live training and you miss being able to grapple and, having competitive sessions. But at the same time, now I know exactly when I'm going to do my weights. I know when I'm going to do my runs. I know when I'm going to do my shadow boxing. I have time to plan out what skills I need to improve on. So it's pretty easy to be fairly structured in your training and actually have more control over my structure of training. So in that way, staying motivated is not an issue. It's more I'm pretty lucky in the fact that I can't really announce what it is exactly, but I have a fight lined up. So yeah, I'll
be getting to upcoming fights because I have a couple of things I'd like to ask you about that. But gonna go back now, take it back to your last fight back in at Bellator 240. You picked up the first round submission over Justin Moore, he's no joke. The guy's a legit middleweight, and right away out the gate, I was live there for your last two fights, and right away we notice a huge improvement in the striking department, especially when you switch southpaw and when he comes in, you drop him with the left cross. When you connected with that cross, did you know right away that, oh yeah, I got
him? Not really. I was pretty surprised by how limp he was. I wasn't sure if he'd shot. I knew I connected. It was actually the upper, I threw a kind of a right hand kind of uppercut. It's like a long upper jab type of thing. And then I was trying to nail him with that left cross. It sort of glanced off his ear a little bit. I didn't quite make a nice connection with it. And then there was actually a right hook again, just right after that, that sort of caught the back of his head. I think that might be what made him go a little bit limp for a second. But as soon as I connected, he shot in, and then I went for the guillotine. And the first second and a half of the guillotine, I was like, oh shit, I should have just kept hitting him because he was a little bit limp. Yeah, look, I was I did feel that little bit of connection, but I wasn't aware of how well it was connected. Yeah, because I think I would have just separated at that point and finished it, or tried to,
And was it a kind of thing where you felt you wanted to get him out of there with the ground and pound or TKO, or did you want to kind of go to your grappling base and work towards a submission?
Nah, I'm always looking for the knockout if I can get it, It's more exciting, and it's just, it feels a more primal way to finish a fight,
Yeah.
You finish it nice, guy taps out, you win, you would have killed him otherwise, whatever, but it's just not as satisfying. When you get that sweet connection and a knockout, it's beautiful. And you get a clip, and people are buzzed.
Yeah. So that was your second career knockdown, if I'm not mistaken. But also, you're a fighter we sparingly see on the feet because you've got such a heavy grappling base, and it's really where you're at your strongest. Especially in the Tuka Suleiman fight, there was a lot of great work there in top control and in side control, going back and forth. With yours, is striking something you'd like to would you like to showcase more of your striking in the future, or would you like to continue to start on the feet and get it to where you're comfortable to finish the fight?
Yeah, I would like to showcase more striking. I think in general you want to be that guy who's knocking everybody out the feet because it's going to be a bigger thing. People already remember this now because it wasn't in Bellator, but my second and third fight both ended in me knocking guys out pretty convincingly. One was a straight up KO, one was a nice straight right into a TKO, and they were both against pretty legit opponents. So yeah, I'd like to be able to display a bit more of that. I've taken kind of always fairly tough fights, and I've always fucking done whatever I fucking needed to do to win the fight, really. But again, Yeah, I'd like to be smashing people on the feet. It's the most exciting way to win fights.
Yeah. And are you completely comfortable up with your striking now to take tough opponents and think let's have a go on the feet and see where it goes?
Yeah, like, look, I've always worked my balls off and I back myself to beat anyone. At the end of the day, what happened with Norbert, I was like, I was pretty shocked by that.
Did his power surprise you with that first overhand?
Yeah, probably. It was more, I was a bit loose.
Yeah.
Probably as well. Like, it was a good, like, it was a very fucking well timed shot. And look, he's an extremely powerful, he's fucking very good athlete. Like, I trained with him previously in London, so I was fully aware of how, like, powerful he could be, and then I had a bit of respect for his hands. Ultimately, like, I ended up taking that shot probably 15 times. And I'm not saying it wasn't powerful, it was extremely powerful. But just on, like, you know, I didn't get put away by it. I was more, like, the power was obviously pretty good, but I was more, I didn't react to that enough throughout the fight. And that's something I was very disappointed with. But at the same time, it's on me to go away and fix that. And I'm fully, like, it's completely within my control. Like, I managed to win my last fight without my face getting touched at all.
So I'd say that must have been a massive high for you then to come back to Ireland for Bellator 240 and to pick up the first round win in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, I was very, like, look, Justin Moore's a tough guy and he's probably not the hardest opponent I've ever fought, no offense to him, but, you know, I've gone in against high level guys quite a bit, and I just thought this is going to be very tough unless you play it the right way. And I'm very happy with how I fought that fight, and to get rid of him in the first round, very proud of that. Like, very happy with the fact that, like, he's an extremely powerful guy that comes out of the gates quick.
I remember your post-fight interview, you mentioned how powerful he was when you were trying to take positions, and his grip strength was just something else.
Insane. Like, literally, the gorilla is fucking for the guy, because he's one of those people who just feels like he's made of steel. So when something moves, you're like, right, that's moving, and I just have to move around it. And I was happy with my jiu-jitsu and the fact that I did just kind of absorb around him. Fell off his back at one stage, and I just kind of underestimated his power, because it was my whole body versus his arm, and his arm still fucking won that. Like, I was trying to straighten him out with my hamstring and get his arm trapped and get his neck, and he still just, like, shot up through, and I ended up underneath him. So I was disappointed with that, but at the end of the day, I managed to get out of that position pretty easily and came back up and got the arm triangle in the end. Very happy with that, like, just the level of control and even the level of, like, smoothness on top. But again, I'd much rather be smashing guys with my forearms and with my elbows, you know, using those tools than something. But look, it was the path of least resistance, and he left it open, so I took the opportunity.
Yeah, so I've been following your career since I watched the first one I watched was the Sullivan fight, and I was very impressed by that. But I wanted to ask, what was your inspiration to get into fighting? Because I know before you did, I believe it was, you did a bit of college rugby, and then you did some other sports before MMA.
Yeah, so I played rugby from the age of like 11 kind of, up until about 21, and that was my whole thing when I was a teenager. It was like rugby. He was big into it, you know, wanted to play pro rugby. And then got a few injuries, like had a bad enough knee injury when I was about 18. And then I broke my foot over in New York when I was playing sevens over there. And that actually, the physio who I was rehabbing with told me to get into boxing footwork. But really, it was more like I was always very passionate about whatever the fuck I was doing, you know. And I felt with rugby, it was like, I'm not really, like, I'm a good athlete and I give it socks, but, like, I'm not really from fucking the right sort of background, don't really have the fucking right athletic base for this. Like, I wasn't quite big enough. Like, I was big enough fella, but, like, I wasn't huge like most of the lads are these days. And when I broke the foot, I'd been playing with Cork on, and I just, like, I was a bit really fed up with rugby and with everything. I'd been, like, dropped off an under-21s team. Sure, and, like, I felt like I was a much better player than that, and the whole selection thing annoyed me a lot. And I was just like, right, it's when I got into doing a little bit of boxing, I was like, well, here's an opportunity for you to like show that you're a fucking good athlete and show that you're damn good at this. Something like
Yeah.
the determination and this work ethic that you have can pay off. So maybe it was a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, which I always think is a good thing to have going into anything. And that chip on the shoulder just kind of spurred me on, and I wanted to fucking show like, look, I'm damn good at whatever the fuck I put my mind to.
Yeah.
And then I went on like, and I did a couple of MMA league type fights and no headshot type fights. I won all of those, and I was just really, really dedicated to it straight away and wanted to be damn good at it. I think sure that's half the battle. And because of like, we were lucky, we got some good coaches in, and there was a kind of a channel there for my passion. And I had a bunch of really highly motivated guys around me down in Cork at that time, like myself, Kieran Daly, James Brennan, Darren O'Gorman. All these guys went on to become pretty good fighters. Like, and we just kind of spurred each other on, and it really like, I was 21 when I got into the sport, but I feel like in those first 4 or 5 years I progressed so much. And then I went over to London and was training away a lot over there, and that kind of spurred me on more. But really, I think a lot of it was just that thing of like having a little bit of something to prove and being determined enough to go about it. And kind of like, look, I had older brothers and they bet the shit out of me constantly.
Are they still doing that now?
No, thank fuck, I'm bigger than everyone now. But I was like 6 and 7 years younger than them. So there was always that edge of like, okay, you've either got to be smart enough to not get involved in physical situations with these guys, or you've got to be well able to handle yourself. And up until I was about 16, 17, I couldn't at all. And then I got to a stage where I could, and it made me much more like, okay, you're well able to get the shit kicked out of you. You're used to like that feeling of physical intimidation being a thing that you have to deal with. So I feel like it was very easy for me to get into a combat sport because I never really there's always a level, like there should be a healthy level of fear, but I've always dealt with that because of having older brothers, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And it really doesn't faze me that much. So like, if they're like, you're going to fight this guy and everybody thinks he's an absolute tank, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, great, unbelievable. I always want that fight. It's always the one I'm looking up to. Like, I have a brother who was 8 years older than me who kicked the shit out of me non-stop, and eventually I ended up kicking the shit out of that guy, and I was like, right, you just face that challenge,
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think that helped massively in my mindset towards fighting. Like,
I have a quote from you. Actually, before I get to that, I was wondering, how did you end up becoming a part of SPG's team? How did that come to fruition?
It was mostly like, look, SPG's the biggest and the best gym in the country. We've by far the biggest fight team in the country, and like, if you're serious about your career, it's kind of where you have to be. But when I came back, I lived in London for a little while, and then I moved back to Cork. And when I was training down there, I was ages trying to get my pro debut, a lot of cancellations. And when I eventually made my pro debut, it was against John Redmond, who now is in SPG as well. But at the time, I was in Samson MMA in Cork, and he was in Team Rhino. And sure, like, I got warmed up in the same dressing room as all the SPG guys. And just after I came out of the cage, John like came over and was like, shook my hand, very nice fight, whatever. And because there had been a slight, like, the guy who owned the Samson, like the MMA clinic originally, which then became Samson, didn't have the best relationship with John, and I kind of always thought like, he won't really ever be open to talking to any of us. And then when he was, and he was even complimentary, I was just like, he's obviously a pretty open-minded guy. Yeah. And it was there like, I never really bought into this whole Cork Dublin rivalry shit. Like, I'm from Tip anyway, and it didn't matter much to me. I'm like, I don't think many of the lads even that I was kind of close with in the gym would have been too into all that.
Yeah.
So I had no issue going there, and then I sat down and had a good chat with my brother one day, and he was like, look, it makes a lot of sense to be going up there, man. It seems like the only avenue for your career. So I contacted Ben Forsyth, who I was kind of close with, who I'd known a little bit from fighting him the year before, and I got in contact with John, and then eventually made the move up to Dublin.
Wow, that's great. I have a quote from you here, and it's a particular one because your persona in the cage, and even your nickname is Will fucking Fleury. Like, it's a very like the raw bastard in the line of Tipperary. Like, it's very raw. You're very emotional, and when you come in, there's loud roars and stuff. And I have this quote from you, but it's precise, clear techniques that win fights. So, do you let all this emotional persona and all this kind of thing get in the way, or once the cage door closes, are you focused, precise, and you don't let emotion get in the way?
You have to be, as in, I'm up until I'm calm. So, I'm screaming, I'm getting myself G'd up, and I want all that adrenaline in my blood, and I want to feel the fight.
Yeah.
But then as soon as everything is like, you're separated, you're looking in his eyes, and it's just like, okay, what do I have to do to win this fight? What is the easiest fucking way to victory?
Yeah.
And that's won me a lot of fights, is just that pattern of thought. It's like, what's the easiest way to win this? Is the best?
Is it difficult to split the mindset, like just to transition from that raw emotion to the calm, focused?
I think it's experience, and if you've been in a lot of like live sparring situations, eventually you become comfortable there, and your thought pattern gets a lot clearer, and you're much more aware of where you're at. So like if I'm 3 rounds into a good tough spar now, I'm still thinking very clearly. It's more, it's like, okay, you've landed X amount and you've seen how he's reacted to this and that. Now there's going to be a hole over here, or like, you've set up, now maybe your right hook's going to work, or you got to feel more for different things. And sometimes it's not even conscious, it's kind of a subconscious awareness of like, that's going to be there. Oh, he's quite tired here. He's not, he's exploding too much. When you get a hold of him like that, get him into one of those positions, let him explode for a while, then you're going to get your submission somewhere there. So, like, experience. And look, you want to get good at anything, just keep doing it. Keep fucking trying it, like, and you'll get better and better as you go on. And I like, I've been training for 10 years, man, and I have a lot of experience in these situations, and I have a lot of self-belief due to that experience. But I think, like, you'll be shitting yourself anytime you spar for the first 2-3 years you're doing this. And then 3 years in, you'll kind of be like, well, actually, I don't feel as, like, G'd up. And that is why I'm a little bit, like, before the fight starts. Because it's fucking important. Like, I've gone in, my fight in Rome, the other fight I lost, I probably wasn't G'd. Like, I went in calm. I was just like, okay, pick this guy apart. That's what this is about. And I don't think it suited me because I didn't have that level of adrenaline in myself. And that's probably like I got clipped in that fight. It was just like whoom and wham wham again, and it was done. And in the Norbert fight, I got hit pretty much exactly the same fucking way, but I was super fucking G'd up for that fight. So the adrenaline probably pulled me through, and I managed to take another fucking 15 of them. So maybe it wasn't the best thing, but at least it gave me that opportunity to salvage it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And look, all the other fights I've been super passionate about. I've smashed guys like, like if there's a clip, like I've had the piss taken out of me for this a lot, but like I knocked Colin McClurkin out in Belfast about 2.5 years ago, and fucking as soon as it happened, like I was G'd up inside before it. I was like slapped my chest out the back, but like I hadn't really shown the passion in the cage yet, and like I just clipped him and boom, he was down, and I landed 1 or 2 more, and literally like ref touched me and I was just like ah, and I had this fucking huge primal scream, and it like that emotion, like if it's kept within you, that emotion is a very fucking powerful thing, and I try to harness that for every fight. Again, every fight's a little bit different. The way you'll fucking gear up to it mentally and the way you'll approach it will be slightly different, but I want to keep that fucking passionate desire to achieve there. Like,
that was a great answer, really. Now, last time out, you called out a Mr. Fabian Edwards after he had some unnice things to say on social media after your last loss, kind of as if he won the fight himself almost. So is he a guy that's still on your hit list? Yeah,
100%. He's the guy I want to fight. Like,
he's a big challenge, and I always respect you for taking the biggest challenges you can find in Bellator.
Yeah, see, I feel like I'm massively underrated and he's massively overrated, so it's not as big a challenge as it seems to you, probably. At the end of the day, I've trained with him, and I know what his level is, and I know what my level is, and I'm looking forward to eventually getting that fight someday.
It's very good. Okay. So one thing I always like to ask is, what does it mean to you to be a fighter?
I think it's all about fucking being very comfortable. Like, I feel like I had it there, but So it's about expressing who you are, but also striving to achieve something that's beyond yourself. So like it's that challenge, and it's facing into that fucking challenge every time. Like, so the thing that excites me when I get up, it's like, okay, what are you gonna do to go out and get it today? And like that can be fucking anything in the world, but for me it's fighting, and for me it's improving as an athlete and improving as a fighter every day. But like it is that thing of shit, you're 21 when you got into this. You know, you have no God-given right to be any way fucking good at this at all. And yet I've got to like a level where I'm pretty much by far the best guy in Ireland, want to become the best guy in Europe, and eventually become the best guy in the world. How are you going to do that? What is that process? And like, it's breaking yourself down, fucking challenging yourself in a lot of different ways, becoming better at fucking literally every skill set you can see to, you know, that will be available for you to use doing this sport. And like that's exciting as fuck to me. Like that gives me such a sense of purpose, and it gives me such a like buzz in general. And like this thing, I'm so lucky, I feel, in the fact that I have something kind of lined up right now, and I have a purpose, because there's nothing worse than that sense of depression you get from not having a goal in your life. And even like when I was that 21 year old, like who was playing a little bit of rugby and like taking it fairly seriously, but not really having that like massive sense of purpose, I was mad depressed off my head half the time, just kind of like, why the fuck am I trying this hard at anything? Or whereas now, well, if I don't try this fucking hard, somebody's going to whoop my ass. So it's a good reason to stay motivated. It's easy enough, like as in, if you you. And I like that. I like having that need to be constantly improving, constantly adapting, constantly pushing yourself to be better. And I think it makes you a better person as well. And I think you'll feel like a happier, healthier human being when you're in a situation where you're forced to adapt. It's not a choice. It's not like, oh, I can get out of bed at 12:30 today and just take it easy. And look, you need to rest too. Like that's fucking part of the balancing act. You got to play with yourself here. But like, ultimately, this forces me to challenge myself, and that's a fucking very good thing for me mentally and physically.
I think you need to start a career as like a motivational speaker or something, because you get me really pumped up to want to go, you know, fight somebody.
Just make sure it's consensual first, yeah. Don't just pick anything, all right?
You're like on social media. You're like you like to portray yourself often a light-hearted fighter, like not taking things too seriously. You know, not really spiteful. You're never after anybody. So, how much of your success can you credit to the Spud life?
I would say about 80%. You know, no calories, no fuel, no gains. There'd be nothing going on then. It would definitely be a large like. People really underestimate the Spud, man. You know, a lot of magnesium, a lot of fucking good. I think a good bit of potassium in there as well. So don't underestimate the power of Spud Life, man. You know, I've gotten a couple of other fighters on board now.
Spud Life.
Yeah, I really feel like for most of fucking my life, Irish culture, it's kind of not appreciated the sport enough. Yeah. You know, it's a big reason why we've produced so many good athletes. Like we need to kind of hold it up there and go like, right, the humble Spud. You know. It is the fuel behind the Irish fucking psyche and the Irish.
That could be a great new nickname, the humble Spud, Will Fleury.
I don't know. It wouldn't be the best for body image, you know. He's kind of a spuddy kind of figure.
You know, he's a big middle. You know, he looks like a spud. You know, that kind of guy.
Yeah. He looks like a guy who eats a lot of spuds. You know.
What's your favorite way to eat a spud? What's your favorite spud to have?
I saw that poll on the journal actually, and a load of my mates sent it to me on WhatsApp and stuff, just fucking asking you what your favourite way to eat is. And I was like, fuck, I love roast. I really do like a good roast spud.
Roast
like,
would be my favourite.
Yeah, but the best I've ever had and kind of the most satisfying would always be mash. You know, when you're like wrecked, you come in of an evening and you have a load of mashed spud there in front of you, if somebody else has done for you, you're like, oh yeah, that's the business. I'd say my absolute favourite is mash at the right situation, but like I would eat a lot more roast spuds than I would mash.
You can never go wrong with mash, yeah. But roast, having your roast spuds with your Sunday dinner and everything, I think it's the best way to enjoy a spud.
And most fried in the right type of fat too. Do you ever get those ones like fried in a bit of goose fat?
Oh
And
yeah,
they're just,
yeah. When you get your Christmas turkey with your spuds.
and they're kind of crisp on the outside, but
Yeah,
like fluffy inside. Oh yeah.
that's. I'm imagining an American audience listening to this, like, oh right, right. So they like the spuds over there.
Yeah, I know. I fucking hate playing into the stereotype this much, but man, they're good for fucking food.
So it's safe to say we can expect you back into the octagon very soon after the lockdown.
Yeah. Well, who knows when the lockdown here is ending?
Yeah.
Fight isn't in Ireland, but I imagine it like it's somewhere that's currently in lockdown. But hopefully, won't be by the time this fight is supposed to be rolling around. But I have a fight. I have a sense of purpose. Fucking delighted with life right now. Training's going well. It's all good. It's all gravy.
That's great to hear. It's been great. It's been great talking, Will. I think I'll end it here on a high after the whole Spud kind of derailing.
Cheers, man. Thanks for listening.
Thanks,
Great talking to you. All right, take care of yourself.